Today's episode is brought to you by Fretboard Biology, the comprehensive online guitar course put together by Joe Elliott. Now, Joe is not only a fantastic guitar player, he draws on his years of experience as the ex-head of guitar at the Guitar Institute of Technology and also at the McNally Smith Music College. Here's a few words from Joe about the course.
If you're tired of wading through hundreds of random guitar videos and just want to become a better player, Fretboard Biology is your answer. Fretboard Biology is a self-paced, college-level program that'll give you the right instruction, in the right amounts, and in the right order. You'll learn the same information I taught to thousands of other guitar players over 30 years of teaching in top music colleges. If you want to make real progress with your guitar playing, then sign up for a free 7-day trial at fretboardbiology.com.
Hi there, you are listening to the Guitar Speak podcast. My name's Matt Wakeling, and this is the show that I produce in Sydney, Australia, where I get to speak to amazing guitar players, luthiers, tech guys, authors, and also the podcast hosts the Iconic series, which is a roundtable discussion when I'm joined by my good friends Rob Rhodes.
Good evening, good day, good afternoon, wherever you are.
All of them, and Gabor Josika.
Howdy.
Howdy, partners. Hey, thanks for jumping in, fellas. I think this is the third time we've done a Namm overview or a look back at our favourite Namm stuff. It's been fun the last couple of times.
Yeah.
It's always fun.
So Namm this year, it's a lot of people were saying it's the biggest post-COVID. I think in 2024, people were saying the convention was sort of getting back on its feet. A few fun facts about this year's Namm. Fender, Marshall and Gibson were all back. PRS was not officially back, but they sponsored some events, so they didn't have a stand with guitars and things, but they sponsored some cool events, which we might actually talk about in a little while. One thing about Namm, I only just found out that they started the National Association of Music Merchants, I believe it stands for. They started back in 1902. So I reckon Gibson was at that one for sure. Orville and the boys.
That's when merchants, because they used to all come over by boat.
Yeah, probably. Probably. Hey, so the format for tonight will be, we've all chosen a few things we really like. We've all chosen one thing that made our heads scratch a little. One item we thought, what is that? And then we've got our honourable mentions, which we'll smash through. Now, before we jump into this, there's just two really quick pieces of housekeeping I want to do. I was in my spam email recently, and someone had sent an email following up from our Iconic Collaborations episode, which we did in 2024. Lots of fun, really cool. It was in my spam and it disappeared. So if you sent an email on that with some thoughts, I'm so sorry. Please try again. We'll check all the mailboxes about. And just a second thought, it was only a few weeks ago, fellas, that we were together with our 2024 look back, and we all pledged, we all pinky promised. We said we're gonna make the most of the gear we have. We're gonna organise our gear cabinets. We're gonna, and like minutes later, I don't know about you, but I was back on Facebook Marketplace seeing what's around, even though I've got dollars committed elsewhere.
Yeah.
In the guitar land. And then obviously we're talking about Namm, but I think it just represents the duality of man. We can organise our cupboards and we can look at gear. We can do both.
Well, if you have the special glasses and you see behind me, there's not that much organising of cupboards going on. But anyway.
It's not your fault, Gabor. You host a brilliantly successful YouTube guitar channel and people want to send you stuff.
Yeah, well,
what can you do?
True.
I've stayed true, man. I haven't bought anything new.
Yeah.
I bought some parts for the Prince Telly because the tuners are falling apart because I just put some crappy ones I had in a drawer on it.
Yeah.
And strings.
Nice.
That's it.
Very good.
That's all I've done. Wife's proud of me.
Yeah.
Getting gold stars.
I don't think I've even bought strings since.
go.
I bought a couple of 3-packs and I still have them. So I don't think I've actually bought anything. So there you go.
All right, we got
me
either. I've got some money with Mr. Glynn's name on it, so I'll be buying some pickups off him as discussed previously. So Yeah, but I'm still looking at gear. It's still fun.
Oh, of course.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't stop.
All right, I reckon we'll jump in. We're going to kick off with the stuff we really liked. We liked the look of. Do you want to, Gabor, do you want to kick us off with your first one?
Me? All right. Well, a lot of the ones actually that I wanted to do, you guys are doing. Actually, the one, because I was late.
You were
We
late.
got in early.
You got in early.
I thought I'd save a few for you, though. I went, he'll pick that. I'll leave it. I won't
I left
touch
one that someone else picked.
But then you didn't end up picking them.
No, I went for ones that I thought were interesting. So the first one I picked, and I've only seen one video about it, and it was actually a video just in general on the booth, and then they mentioned that as one of the new things. But it's a Tech 21 Marty Friedman Sans Amp pedal. It looks really, really cool. I'm really looking forward to seeing some more videos, or maybe even Tech 21 if you are so, wanting to have a great review by some guys in Australia, then you can send me one.
Absolutely.
Shameless plug. But
That's 5 minutes in, not bad.
It's a record.
thanks, yeah. But it's basically a Sans Amp, like one of the direct kind of pedals. But you can go direct, so it's got an XLR out, but you can also go into amps and stuff like that. But it's basically 3 channels, kind of like a cleanish, overdriven-y kind of channel, a rhythm kind of channel, and a full-on gain channel, without too much fuss. And I kind of like that about it. It just has reverb on it, amp controls. It's a slightly different format to the Fly. It's not the Fly rigs. It's more like the they had like that triple drive. Is it GT3 or something like that? It's just sort of one of the slightly bigger with 3 buttons kind of.
I remember.
Sort of maybe sort of iPad size or a bit bigger with 3 buttons with just knobs on it, and you have the 3 presets. Or you can go into another mode and you can have up to 128 presets. But basically, 3 different amp sounds, just basic reverb, and it sounded really, really cool. Did you guys see that video? Did I send you a link to that video?
I did watch that. I did watch one video. I don't know if it was the link, but it was a guy from Interactive Guitar or something at the booth. Yeah. And had the switchable filter and an onboard tuner. The
you
secret,
push the 2 buttons, the secret mode.
Secret mode, the outside buttons. Yeah. I don't know what it is with Tech 21, but it always sounds like Tech 21. Like it always sounds like a Sans amp. And I don't think that one was any different to the Fly rigs or like tone wise. It still has that signature.
I mean, it's an analog thing. But I think I used to use one of the old original Fly rigs for a while. That was sort of one of my life gig things. And maybe I have a soft spot for it. But I just thought it sounded really, really cool. It looked really, really cool. I do kind of have also kind of a soft spot for Marty Freeman. I think he's an interesting dude. And it looks cool. I think it looks kind of cool too. Did you get a chance to check it out, Matt?
Yeah, just read through the release and had a quick look at a video. Marty Friedman, friend of the show, he's interesting, man, because he will say he's not super into gear, but he endorses heaps of stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's into the nitty-gritty of engineering the stuff. He just wants it to work and sound how he wants it to work and sound. So I like that approach.
Well, he has a very, very complex angle signature amp with lots and lots of switching and routing options and stuff like that. So, but anyway, I just thought it sounded kind of cool. That was just, and I haven't seen many videos on it, which is always intriguing, I find, because there's the stuff that everyone covers and you see a million videos. But no one really covered that.
But he made it super simple. So you say the angle amp's complicated, but that pedal was simple because he said, preset clean, dirty, and lead.
Well, the angle, I think, has got maybe 3 or 4 channels, maybe 3 channels. But I think it has some of the, what is it, the Savage and the other one, I don't know what it's called. But I think it has this thing in the back where you can actually, there's routing options and stuff. So you have these little mini dip switches. So I think it is quite a complicated amp, but it doesn't have to be a complicated amp. I think it can be straightforward. Yeah. So maybe his guitar tech sets it up in certain ways for him, and then that's it.
Cool.
But I just thought I'd pick that as the first one to look at because I like it.
It's a good kickoff. Do you ever do Tech 21 reviews? Like, do you work with those guys?
Not yet. No, I haven't yet. It's the tricky part is always when you contact a lot of these companies directly, they will say, especially the sort of bigger, more well-known ones, they'll say, talk to the Australian distributor, and often the Australian distributor's just not interested because it comes kind of out of their pocket kind of thing if they send us stuff.
Right.
So,
Sure.
and they're not that interested because it is quite a small market, Australia, so...
Yeah.
And no margin. Like, just no margin.
That's it, yeah.
So.
Yeah. All right. It's cool. It does look cool. I like the Marty written under the foot switches.
Yeah. It's sort of written under there and just a big safe button and big tuner display. I think, I like the simplicity of it too.
Yeah, cool. All right, Rob, what was your first one?
My first one was the Circle guitar from
That's
Circle.
what I wanted to pick.
It was honestly, and it was the first video that popped up from them on my algorithm. Like, it was the first one that came, and I went, "What is this thing?" And what it is it's a MIDI guitar, but an innovative instrument features a wheel with plectrums that dynamically strum the strings, offering possibilities beyond human capability. It says the guitar's design incorporates a multi-channel pickup, allowing you to isolate each string's volume. And 2 modes are available: a player mode for real-time expression with tap tempo, and a producer mode using MPE MIDI to enable complex rhythms and programmable gate patterns for creating arpeggios. And it's like having, it's like having 6 people play one.
And
one
the volume
string
for
at a time.
each string is a slider too, that's cool.
Yeah,
That is cool.
Exactly. It looked so cool. And watch this. I just thought, oh man, this is going to be on the next Muse album.
That's exactly what I thought. I thought of Muse. As soon as I saw that, I went, that's Muse. He's going to have a Manson custom with that in it.
Yeah, and it was killer. Like, just what he did rhythmically with arpeggios, and then incorporating harmonics to make percussive sounds, and to have the controller on the computer, so to almost like a drum map was how you programmed the wheel spinning around. But also there was a simplicity to it. So you could get super complicated, but there was a simplicity to how you could use it. And I just thought, man, I think we looked at some weird stuff last year, really innovative stuff. And this isn't by any means close to going onto the market. I think he's looking for investors and wants to get it out there. I think he said he built 6 of them or something like that. Or it was something like that I think he built so far. Because it's just a small builder in England. English, I think, from memory. I think it was in England. But yeah, just freakishly, just beyond the human brain, what you could think of, like I thought. And just, you could see how you could use it in the studio, a one-man band, like, obviously he thinks they're going to be 8,000 to 10,000 US. Wow. So it's not an everyman instrument, but for a creative piece of equipment.
I can see the spinny thing, it could break easily, and it would have to be, I guess, maintenance and stuff like that, and warranty. Because, it is an actual physical ring that spins on the guitar. Which I think makes it kind of cool too. It's sort of tactile. It's not a digital gimmick. It's an actual moving part with the volume control, with the speed control. I think I really dug it. I thought it was great.
I love that too. I loved how it was like a mechanical. It was a machine. Yeah, and you could probably pull sounds sort of like that out of a sequencer or something. But the fact that you're very hands on makes it super cool. I agree.
Yeah.
And you could see the endless possibilities of how MIDI implementation now with screens and drummers and lighting,
controllers,
and all kinds of things get triggered within that program.
Well, you can run your whole stage show basically with MIDI controlled stuff, and the guitar could be the thing controlling it, which is kind of weird. Yeah,
so good.
Yeah,
so good.
Oh my god, I could see just people having to have a warning at the beginning of the show that if you suffer from epilepsy
photosensitivity or whatever,
it could be a problem. Photosensitivity. It'll be oral sensitivity because you're like. Oh,
that's great.
Yeah, that was definitely a standout for me.
Very cool. Very cool. I think we're all on board.
Yeah.
We're all trying we might throw the money together and invest.
What was your first one?
So I went with, I love this. This is the Peavey Decade 2 amplifier, which has, attained cult status through Josh Homme of Queens of the Stone Age when he revealed, the big tone driver for some of those earlier records was a 10-watt solid-state Peavey amp from the early 80s.
With an 8-inch speaker.
An 8-inch, man. An 8-inch. I mean, heaps of albums have had...
We've all had one.
Absolutely.
No, I never had a Peavey Decade. Never had a...
No, I had a Peavey Rage.
Yeah. Well, that was an 8 as well.
I feel like we've all had one of those little solid-state combos at some stage.
But not the Decade, sadly. And it's the Decade 2 with double O as well, not T-W-O. And it's Joshua Homme. Yes. I've never seen Joshua Homme. It's always Josh, but anyway.
I didn't notice that. Oh,
it says Joshua on it, yeah.
So yeah,
tax
it's
purposes.
like it's the internets have gone bonkers over this, and we've seen lots of pieces of gear that someone says it's good or someone uses it, and everyone goes, "Really? I've got one of those in my basement. I'm going to sell it for $3,000 or something." and the price. So I wonder what this is going to do to the prices of the original Decades, or if because they're original, if they're still going to maintain the crazy money they're going from. But what I like about this is they have updated it. It's still drawing on those beautiful solid state watts of tone, but it's got a few additional tone switches, and it's got like a speaker sim out, with an XLR with a ground lift. It's got an effects loop, which I don't think the original had. Stuff like that to make it a little more usable, I guess, for a modern player. But and still cops all that original Peavey vibe, the pointy. It's so ugly, it's beautiful. The logo, all the original fonts. And Gabor, I know you're going to talk about the Peavey pedals later, so I won't go too much into it. But there's a Peavey Decade pedal, which I love because in the sort of the Peavey underground cultists. There've been people making little preamp pedals like from Peavey Rages and rehousing them and stuff, and kind of reminds me of some of that stuff I've seen. So kind of fun, fellas. What were your thoughts on the Decade 2?
I think the one thing that you missed, which I think is one of the best parts, is the extension cabinet. It comes in that little housing, and you can tilt it. You can move it. The swing
like
stand.
The swing
it's
stand,
so cool.
the old
That's the coolest thing ever.
Swing
That's
stand,
that's the coolest. But I love that. So you can have a 2x8 stack, and you can tilt the bottom one up. I think that's awesome. I really dig it. I really want to. That's already on my to-do list for next week. Is I'm gonna contact. I'm not sure who the Australian Peavey distributor is, but I'm going to contact the Australian Peavey distributor because there's a couple of like those pedals and those amps and stuff. I really want to try them out.
Oh, that's great. I think it used to be Australis. I don't know if it still is.
I'll find out and check it out and see if I can get my hands on some of that stuff because I really like all of it.
Yeah, cool.
I love that Peavey is kind of back because as a late person in his late 40s, my learning years, Peavey was everywhere. Like I had
there's a Peavey behind you right now.
I had, yeah, that's right, Peavey 5150.
Yes, bro. Come on.
Yeah, but Peavey was just everywhere. I had my first amp was a Peavey Rage. Peavey was everywhere, and they've copped an absolute hammering in recent decades, and then that Undercover Boss episode kind of destroyed their reputation, and that went viral. And to see him sort of come back and just embrace that classic the classic vibes of Peavey, that they're the good times, and not try to redesign the logo, just embrace that pointy, take your eye out
be careful
vibe. As much as I love the when Eddie took the Pro Audio Peavey logo for a while and they used that was quite good. But it's ticked every nostalgia box that you'd have, and it's really nice to see. And everyone seems vibey at the booth there at Namm, and seem to be everything that Peavey used to be. They're trying to recreate that, so that's cool.
Yeah, it is cool. As a teenager, I had a Peavey Bandit. I didn't own it, but a friend lent it to me for quite a while, and it sounded awesome. And even then, I didn't know anything, but I knew it sounded good with pedals plugged into it. And they've had a resurgence of people saying, "Oh yeah, great pedal platform. Get a Bandit." And a trolley, because they're stupid.
I bought a little while ago. I bought a Peavey Century head. I think it's it's something ridiculous, like 200 watts or something like that. It's huge, massive head. Great solid state amp.
That's a double Century.
Sorry.
That's a double Century.
Or maybe double Century. I don't know. But it's this massive head. It's ridiculous.
No, they were called Centuries. So
yeah, it's ridiculously loud with this super parametric sweepable EQ thing on it. It's cool. I have a soft spot for all that stuff too. Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
I had like a cream classic 50 for a while head.
I've got a classic 30 actually. That's in the other room here. Yeah.
Classics are great.
And the other, there was just slipped my mind, but I had another Peavey story that, I remember the back of the guitar magazines. It might have been, there was a particular guitar magazine that came out for a while, and the back page was always the guitar rig, people's rigs, players' rigs. And I remember Buckethead's one with 2 Peavey Renowns, I just thought that is super cool. I think the Renowns were a massive solid state 100-watt or something combos. You can imagine lugging those things.
I remember back in the 90s when I sort of first started gigging, some of the bands had was it the Peavey Ultra? The one where the logo changed, the color of the logo changed depending on the channel. So you had the green, the kind of orange and the red.
Like the trans tube?
No, it was full valve, I think, that one. There were these big heads. I think they were called Peavey Ultra. But full, I'm pretty sure they were full tube. But yeah, the channel switching, the logo was sort of lit up in the middle, the Peavey logo, that pointy Peavey logo. And it was green for the clean channel, orange for the rhythm channel, and red for the dirty channel. I was just always going, wow, that's cool. I'm a sucker for things that light up, though. Light up logos, you have me at light up logo.
Oh, so good. Very the Peavey love. We should do something on Peavey, maybe one. We should do a Peavey episode.
We should. That's some great guitars, too.
Oh, yeah. I think I chose the Adrian Vandenberg guitar from last year's Namm.
Oh, yeah, you did, yeah.
Man.
I still think it's the best Van Halen model.
Oh, yeah?
Not the Peavey
model. And they've just gone to crazy prices now because I think they do excel well above the quality of the EVH guitars.
Yeah,
ones.
Right.
And the headstock's way better.
Headstock, I'm not a fan of. Yeah.
Doesn't have the bottle opener.
All right, let's keep going. I think we're up to you, Gabor. What was your next?
Well, my next one is another kind of quirky one that but I thought it's quite an interesting thing because it's something that I don't know, I've never heard of before that anyone did that. The Celestion Peacekeeper speaker, which is basically a speaker that attenuates. So it's meant to attenuate the volume of your amp. So I think the spiel for it, the reasoning is, if you use 100-watt Marshall head or something like that, so you can find a sweet spot without blowing your head off. So it's meant to attenuate quite a bit. I haven't seen any videos of it. I've just seen written up stuff on it. I haven't seen anyone test it or anything like that yet. But it looks really interesting for a 12-inch Celestion speaker to have a speaker that is sort of self-attenuating, but still sounding good according to them. It has what's called an 86 dB sensitivity. So I don't know if it doesn't go above 86 dB, or I don't know what that means.
That must, because, yeah, so the SPL of like a vintage 30 is, I think, 98 or 99 dB. And so most of them are around that area of the SPL rating, so sensitivity. And, there's the odd one that goes over 100 dB, which I think might be the ones that I use, the redbacks. But most of them, like greenbacks, all that, are around that 96, 97, 98, 99 dB SPL. So, yeah, that's quite a deal lower.
I just thought it was an interesting thing. And so, thoughts?
In the old days, we would have just called this a not very good speaker.
I
like the idea, though. I think it's a great idea.
I think it's a great idea to have. So you don't have to put anything in between the amp and the cabinet.
Yeah,
you just have a self-attenuating speaker. I think it's a great idea.
I guess the only thing is I guess there's no way to actually. It's just built-in attenuation that you can't tweak it to the room or how loud it is actually reproducing.
I don't know. That's the thing. That's all there is I think Premier Guitar did a write-up about it, but I think the write-up in Premier Guitar is most of what's on the Celestion website as well. And I haven't seen much else yet, but I'm on the Celestion mailing list, so I get all the emails with because I do the Celestion Plus stuff. And I just got an email about it, and I thought, oh, that looks interesting. So that's why I thought I brought it up. So what are your thoughts, Rob?
Yeah.
Attenuating speaker.
For me, the history has always been, I will look at the wattage and the SPL, the sensitivity of a speaker, and get the highest possible rating so the speaker stays clean. Because I've never liked greenbacks for that low wattage and the early breakup. I kind of always want just to recreate the amp sound. So I'd be really interested to see how they've done that and whether the speaker will stay clean when it's pushed. Like the redback, because I've just got redbacks in everything now. And they're 150 watt, I think 99 dB SPL. So, yeah, I'd be interested to see if that stays clean or they start to break up, and I'd say they would have designed it because they don't want the speaker to collapse if you're driving the amp hard into it. So, yeah, it piqued my interest because I didn't see anything on this leading up to our talking about these things on the podcast.
Because what it says is the Peacekeeper will attenuate your amplifier in the most natural way possible with zero additional coloring or tonal compromise. So I'd love to try it out because it sounds interesting. And if it means you can crank your amp without it being too loud, I think that's awesome.
Yeah, well, everyone keeps innovating to bring the volume down on stage, which isn't a bad thing.
All right, Rob, we're up to your next pick. What do we got?
Well, I'm sure this is one of the ones that Gabor probably would have picked too, but I chose the MXR Rockman pedal.
One's actually on its way to me, so...
Yeah.
Aha.
Come on.
So
and
cool.
I've got a friend who's got the actual Rockman thing, and we're going to do a shootout.
Oh, killer.
Yeah.
The X100? Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what it's based on. It pretty much a headphone amp or a direct box, whatever you want to call it, designed by Tom Schultz of Boston. It wasn't his only invention either. He also invented the original Power Soak attenuator.
He did a lot of stuff. Yeah.
So all these things, it was like the 80s version or the late 70s version of Les Paul.
Yeah.
Just designing stuff for the studio, And, so it's designed to run direct into a recording desk, or you can run into a power amp, or this seems to even want to run into the front end of an amp if you wanted to. But I'd be interested how the front end of an amp would take it, maybe into the effects loop might be a better choice.
Well, we'll find out. I might. That's something that we might include in a video that we're going to do about it. So you never know.
I'll send some notes and requests your way. There's an internal stereo switch so you can run it in stereo. The chorus will then come out in stereo with a TRS cable out. And if you don't think you have heard this sound before, so obviously Boston, all those records, but Def Leppard, Hysteria, all the Rockmen, Steve Stevens with Billy Idol, Eyes Without a Face, like all that, and Not of This Earth, Joe Satriani, they were all Rockmans. Wow. So, and it looks cool.
Awesome.
It's got sliders. It's got sliders and it's got buttons.
Again, sliders. You had me at sliders.
And a stereo chorus. Yeah. Come on. And the original, it's maintained the original color scheme. And MXR are doing great things because they bought the Rockman name in the 90s. Oh, wow. So they've sat on this for a long time. Obviously, a couple of Rockman pedals, products have been out and about over the years. And it's another thing that if I think about ads in guitar magazines in the 90s, this was always a quarter-page ad.
Yeah.
For Rockman.
He was always sitting, Tom Schultz was always sitting in the background with a rack mount full of his blue, like, mini rack things.
All of them.
Yeah, all of them sitting in there.
Multiples. Yeah.
Just this is next level cool for me. And especially playing a lot of 80s stuff recently.
Oh, you might not have to bring an amp for the 80s show. You can just plug that straight in.
You just shut your mouth. That will never.
Sorry.
No, I was learning songs last night, and I was just using the Line 6 Helix Native, and I've got a couple of presets in there that I built, and one says Luke 80s and Clapton 90s, and if that isn't pretty much a Rockman sound, then it's stereo choruses and delays and that nice nasally mid-range. But yeah, Matt, what did you think when you saw this?
I loved it as soon as I saw it. It was awesome. It feels a bit like Star Wars Episode 7. They're bringing out all the nostalgia stuff just for me, and I don't care. I like it. I like it.
That would have to be one of the nerdiest references.
Good.
But hey, we all wear glasses. It's all good.
Man, I loved it. I got to play through one of these things in the early 90s. Someone I knew owned one, and I couldn't believe all the sustain and the compression out of this little box. Because, again, I didn't understand how to make tones. I just knew I played it, and it sounded sort of like a record. It sounded like this massive processed sound. So, I dig it that it's coming out. And, again, all the graphics and the colour scheme just takes you right back. Loved it.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it too. Like I said, I'm looking forward to trying it out when hopefully next week sometime. I should be getting one, and then there'll be some videos with it. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to trying it out because some of the videos actually, there's a great video. My friend RJ Ronkilio did an awesome video. Check it out because when it comes to that 80s kind of dude, he's the man. When it comes to that sort of playing, so check out his demo of it, and it's a cool sounding thing, cool looking thing. I love how all the ads have all the neon colors around it as well, and it's great. I definitely like.
Nice.
Yeah, the Pete Thorne demo was good as well, and why doesn't my brain want to remember?
Oh, Leon Todd,
guitar player.
Leon. Yeah,
Leon Todd did one too. It sounded great. Great. Yeah.
Very good. Gabor or Rob, does Past Effects do something like this? Have they done the Rockman thing yet?
Don't think so.
Okay.
I think Verlies was planning on doing something, and then the MXR thing came out. So I think there will be something coming out.
Cool. She does great stuff.
She does awesome stuff.
I think they should do a pig nose instead.
Yes, the pig nose pedal.
Bob Spencer recorded all of the guitars on Angels Beyond Salvation on a pig nose.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yeah.
I heard it was something small.
That still sounds great
sounds
today.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Sounds amazing.
there's been a couple of albums. I think Jeff Beck might have done some, tracking with a pig nose as well over the years. Yeah. And call back to our soundtrack or guitars in movies episode. It was the amp of choice on the road for Ralph Macchio.
Put it on the belt, played the slide.
I sent you that video of the guy who recreated.
What he really played.
There's a video on YouTube. Yeah, he analysed Ralph Macchio's fingers and recreated it in like true Shreds style, and it was hilarious.
Even the Steve Vai parts.
Oh, that was a great day for guitar videos on YouTube. With the Why This Song Stinks as well came out
He's
the
a legend,
same day.
Yeah. I love it whenever an episode comes up, the three of us just message each other.
Instantly going, new one's out. Have you seen it yet?
We think of each other. All right, we'll do a couple more bits of gear that we loved, and then we will take a break. So 2 to go. I went with, I don't know if I like this, but it just intrigued me, and I couldn't look away the more I looked at it. I'm talking about the Corey Wong Ernie Ball Music Man Stingray 2 guitar.
Yeah.
Looks kind of like a Stingray bass. Now, I don't always like it when guitars or basses look like guitars. I know Fender did something like a jazz bass shaped inspired guitar. I didn't quite get it, but if you've got the magic glasses...
Ah, yes.
On my wall here,
Stingray
you can't see this on the podcast. I've got a Music Man Sub 5. This is the US made ones. It's my only American instrument, actually. It's probably the best instrument I own on paper that I play the least. Anyway, when I've played that on bass, though, this big, and the body of that's kind of Stingray-ish inspired, I've often thought this could be cool as a guitar. Like it feels just the way the body sits and nice big slab. Anyway, what Corey Wong has done, he's taken a Stingray type bass shape body, but he's built a guitar around it. He said he was looking for a humbucker style guitar and started working with Ernie Ball. Bit of a shock for many of us because obviously he's a big Fender guy, and as it turns out, Fender gave Wong their blessing to explore that guitar, which I thought was kind of cool. A nice little nod to Leo's involvement in both companies. It was hard to avoid seeing this instrument. What were your reactions, guys?
I don't know. It just sounded like him, and it's a Fender, and he extended the headstock. Yeah, the length of the headstock to be a bit more Fender-ish. And I owned a whole bunch of Music Man guitars over the years and have a soft spot for them. I just kind of my hands outgrew them because the necks are a little bit too small for me.
And I think he said it's even a little bit smaller than the usual ones, the neck.
Yeah. So it would be a no from me, but I did find it interesting that he would take a dual humbucking guitar. But he's starting to do a bit different things, and maybe the Rottier thing, the connection with them two, got him thinking outside the box a little bit, and that took him down this road. But I think there's room for these sorts of guitars, and I'm a humbucker guy. I love single coils too. Don't get me wrong. I'm a P90 guy all day long, and took my Strat out on the weekend. But I think humbuckers definitely have a place, and they, like George Benson, all these guys, they're all humbucking guys, and they get those funky clean sounds. Yeah. And he showed you could get funky clean sounds out of it. And when we're in places that are noisy and pick up sounds, like I've got guitars I wouldn't leave the house with when I go to certain venues. It's always good to know that you can get these sounds. And he's got a big following that would all just be these single coil guys, and to do this is kind of a cool thing, I think.
Nice. Gabor, would you leave the house with a bass shaped guitar?
I actually like the only thing actually I thought was it would look better without the pickguard. If it was just, because the pickup looks a bit, but it gives it a Stingray look.
Yeah, the teardrop
but without
thing.
it, with just the two humbuckers, with just nothing there, just direct mounted humbuckers, I think it would look even better. I think it's not a bad looking guitar, and it sounded great when he played it. But yeah, like Rob said, it just sounded like him when he played it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like it. I thought it was a good idea. I like how he said he was hanging out with Joe Dart, the bass player out of the band, and he got his signature Stingray bass, and he just sort of said, "Oh, I just want that as a guitar. Can't you just slap a guitar neck on this?" And they go, "No."
But I really like that green premium one. Looked really good with the matching headstock.
I think it's what's it? A cashmere? Is it cashmere? Which is the same color as one of the St. Vincent ones. That sort of goldy kind of coppery kind of color looked really, really good. But yeah, the matching headstock. That's light up logos and matching headstocks. And sliders. You got me.
And sliders. It's the Gabor signature. All right, Gabor, you've got one bit of gear left you want to tell us about.
This is just a quick one.
This is crazy.
Because I thought again, there's only one video I saw on it, and I thought it's really, really cool. So Rev, the company Rev, Canadian amplifier company, are bringing out what they call the Rev Vision cabinet. Now, it's a 4x12 cabinet, but it's got LEDs on it, and you can pretty much put any video content or whatever you want onto your cabinet. You can also connect multiple cabinets together and have like a wall of just whatever you want. It connects to an app, and you just kind of drag stuff onto it, and you can use it kind of like screens, but it's your amplifier. And what the guy was saying was, I found it quite interesting, because there was a sort of a phase now where a lot of guitar players put different grills that had certain artwork that related to their whatever album they released on it. Yeah. But then, you get...
Rob Rhodes. Rob Rhodes has done this very thing.
Oh, yeah, right, yeah.
I just went to, I think... Are you talking about the grills?
The grills, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, I just went to Spotlight and bought some like Paisley rattan or something, and redid the front. They're long gone though. I moved on.
If you get that revision cabinet,
I like them long.
If you get that revision cabinet, you can get a Paisley video, and put it on there. I just thought it's an interesting idea to have. To make it sort of, I mean, it's not cheap. If you look at the Rev website, they're $2,500 US for one 4x12 cabinet. But I mean, if you're touring and if you want the stage to look cool and interesting, and like the guy was saying, so many acts who have these screen printed and whatnot cabinets, they go into storage and no one ever uses them, and then they get another set of speakers with different stuff on it. Like this, you play with different acts, your guitar player plays in multiple acts, or you release a new album and do a different tour, you just stick different video imagery on it. So I thought it was an interesting thing. So what are your thoughts, Rob? Would you use that? You could use that for the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000 show.
Nah, man, I'm going to recreate U2's Zoo Tour. And Zoo TV Tour, done. That's it. I don't need anything else. That could just be, and it can go in front of the drummer.
Perfect. You just need some. You just need some cars elevated when the headlights are your are the lights, the stage lights.
Yeah. Cool idea, innovative, and we're seeing. I don't know if you guys watched any of the CES tech stuff coming out recently, and the sheets. Like the TV screens, it's a sheet, and it just moves in the air. And the big curved screens that are being done now, and you just
I just watched the thing where there's a laptop, and you open up the laptop, and it is a certain size, but then you can extend it. The screen kind of rolls up, and you can make it twice the size. Yeah, there's a lot of that stuff coming out. So
yeah, that'd be really cool. I know that most people in our business would probably just put their Facebook,
Yeah.
like, follow me on Facebook.
Scan
Like
this
QR codes. QR codes. Check in now. Tell everybody you're here. Tag me. No, I think we're sort of past that now. But it's a great innovation, and as with anything, it'll get cheaper and it'll get shrunk down, and you'll just be able to plug a little USB drive into it with, a moving. You can make a video or a few different images that change and transition, and I think if it takes off, I think you could see it in the next couple of years in a smaller form factor. Yeah.
Cool.
Cool. I had to double check that it was an actual speaker in there.
Yeah.
Because first I thought this is just a guitar, an amp-shaped LED screen, but which seemed a bit odd. So that makes sense now. How does the sound come out? That's amazing. Like the speaker's back there somehow. And
well, I think it's one of those things like if you look at the Sphere in Las Vegas, if you're up close, the LEDs are actually quite far apart.
Okay.
But it's all about the distance. So, and I think it's the same with this, is that you have, if you're right up close, you see there's gaps between the little LED bits, but it's all about being further back, and then all of a sudden you have that kind of clear, sharp image.
Yeah, right.
So I'm guessing, I don't know.
Idea. Again,
there are no other videos or anything out of it. There's one that's like a 2-minute long video of the guy talking about it. And showing the app and stuff. So I haven't seen anything else on it yet, but I just thought it's a really cool idea. I'm all for it.
You could see someone hacking that and putting very inappropriate images when you wouldn't know what was going on behind you.
That's right. Until you lean in front to get the feedback and you hang on. What's this chicken ad doing on my thing?
Why are my bank details?
You know what's cool? There's this stuff coming out. You think you've seen it all, and then stuff like this comes out. You go, I would never have thought of that.
No.
I love it.
No.
All right, let's take a little short break, and then we'll come back with stuff we didn't dig, but also our roll of honour, our honourable mentions from Namm 2025. This episode is brought to you by Fretboard Biology, the comprehensive online guitar course put together by Joe Elliott, ex-head of guitar at the Guitar Institute of Technology and the McNally Smith College of Music. I was one of the beta testers for the course and can say as a music educator, I was really impressed by the logical sequence of learning. The course has also been endorsed by players such as Brett Garsed and Greg Kopp. For more details, check out the links in our show notes. All right, welcome back to the Guitar Speak podcast. We're talking Namm 2025. We've gone through, I think, 7 products we found really interesting. We've got 2 more segments. We're up to the what the ? Section, where we each choose something that we didn't quite dig as much as some of the others. Gabor, kick us off. What do you got? What was the first what the?
Well, mine was sort of it's more of a kind of I don't quite understand why, really. It's the Marshall modded series that they just brought out. So the 2 amps, the 800 modded and the 1959 modded. I mean, 20 years ago, maybe. But it's, to me, not that it's a horrible product or anything. I'm sure they're good. But I just find it odd that they release these big 100-watt amps with mods that there are lots of other companies that kind of almost got big because of those mods. And all of a sudden they're releasing them as sort of a kind of high-end, kind of custom, not cheap line. So to me it was a bit of a what's the point kind of thing. I mean, it's nice to see Marshall's kind of doing things and coming back, and I believe they were just bought by a Chinese company as well, so it'd be interesting to see what happens there. But to me it was just, and I mean, if they would have done it and maybe put some sort of IR direct out or built-in attenuator or something like that to kind of make it a modern thing, I would have kind of gone, okay, yeah. But to just have a straightforward, no kind of what you would consider modern amp thing, like an direct out IR thing, maybe work with 2 notes or some company like that, like a lot of amp brands do, where they stick a 2 notes thing in there, where you can, for silent recording and all that sort of stuff. I just found it a bit odd. I don't know what were your thoughts, guys. Matt, what were your thoughts?
Oh, look, I had two sides to this coin. I thought, I guess similar to you did. I thought if I wanted a modded Marshall style amp, by now you could get one. There are so many which are amazing.
I mean, Friedman, mate. That's what Friedman is, isn't it?
But got their name by doing that, and lots of people. But I don't know. I sort of thought vintage Marshall's modern vintage series was sort of that anyway. Was taking that idea of older styles, but souping them up. But that said, on the other hand, I kind of liked it. I liked the 800 with the switches on it, and looked kind of cool, and had was it trying to like cop a Dymo label kind of vibe with the markings. Yeah, I kind of liked it as well, but I guess similar to you, I thought, has the boat already sailed?
Yeah,
that sort of thing?
it's a bit, a decade or more too late. That's something that they could have done a while ago, and because Anyway, what about you, Rob?
Yeah, it was similar. I found it weird, especially when they talked just not too long ago when they did all the press releases about the future of Marshall and how they were, investing in the future, and that they would go back to an amp that has an impossible, price. It's going to be an impossible price, especially in the United States. Marshalls are super expensive, and even in the UK, they're still expensive. In here, they're expensive, and then you're competing with boutique amps that offer way more and hand wired and whatever else. It was a strange thing, and maybe it was just they knew what was coming, and they thought, let's put these out as a farewell to what Marshall is going to be moving forward. In saying that, everyone loves Marshalls. Everyone loves those amps, and it's cool that they've gone and done that. But I think, how many are they going to sell? Yeah. They might sell a couple that'll get captured, and everyone will have it on their Tonex and in their Quad Cortex, Kemper. And they won't sell as many as they hoped.
See, I find the interesting thing I find is, on one hand, they do stuff which I think is good, like the Studio series, where they just released also the JCM 900, which is like a small wattage. Again, to me, the Studio series is sort of missing the I/O that a lot of the modern amps have now. But I do get it. I think it's a good idea to do it. The smaller wattage Plexi, the JTM 45 they released, the 800, the 900. I totally get it. But that to release these sort of super expensive 100-watt heads with no frills, just the little mod switches. Yeah, I found it very odd.
They're going to go in some real estate agent's, man cave or, something like that.
With the PRS Dragon next to it.
How much are they asking for these things? I didn't see the price, actually.
I don't think prices have been really released yet.
Okay.
But it looks very high-end and very expensive. I'm just checking, hang on the Marshall website. Have they actually released prices?
But just so many people doing those amps and doing them with all the added bells and whistles and the IRs out and the effects loops and the, whatever else. It was a very strange decision, but who knows what's going to happen? They sold for over $1 billion to that Chinese
just a couple
company.
of days ago.
So,
hang on, what's
going to happen?
More Bluetooth headphones.
I can't see any prices, but I can't imagine it being cheap.
Okay.
I wonder if somewhere like Anderton's. Hang on, you guys keep talking, and I'll check.
Yeah, well, maybe I'll in the same vein, I'll mention my my honourable mention, which is the Jose modded. So Jose Arredondo, for those that may not know, he modded Van Halen's amps, he modded Stevie Ray's amps, Steve Vai's amps, like everyone. Took a 59 Super Lead circuit of a Marshall and did a whole bunch of mods. And Friedman, in conjunction with Jose's daughter, has now released the Friedman Jose Arredondo modded Friedman 59 circuit. Yeah. So with the added front end gain stage, master volume, and push pull with multiple clipping diodes on the input and output sections. So yeah, again, all mini switches, pretty much.
Oh, Friedman loved all the mini switches there. Yeah, I just found about £3,000 on Anderton's pre-order for the 59 modified and JCM 800 modified.
Yeah, right.
So like 10,000 Australian. By the time you could get the freight, you freighted here.
I mean, you can buy one of the JCM 800s, 2203, the kind of hand wired, whatever, the what they do to JCM 800s for £1,475. So this is double what you would buy an 800 for. Or interesting. Anyway, that was just So that's at Anderton's.
Yeah. So yeah, it was interesting. Two booths had the same amp.
Yeah,
like Friedman's working on it.
Yeah.
And then Marshall are working on a very similar thing. So
I wonder how much the Friedman will go for.
You reckon it'll be cheaper or more expensive than the Marshall?
I mean, Friedman stuff is obviously expensive.
I think it's probably going to be around about the same price, maybe slightly cheaper.
Similar price, probably.
Less people working on it, working on the Friedman and the Marshall. So less R&D to recoup, maybe. But yeah, interesting that they're very similar things. We saw that last year, right, with a couple of the Friedman came out, and then there was a couple other amp companies that came out with similar amp designs, and I wonder where they're getting their which focus group are they talking to get all these things out at the same time?
At the same time,
yeah.
Cool. All right. Yeah, that kind of ties it. Rob, can we go back to you then again? What was the product that you just didn't get?
Oh yeah. So the Digitech Hammer-On.
Yes.
And I just had one statement, why? And I don't know if they demoed it poorly.
Yeah.
The guy at Namm who was demoing the Digitech stuff, he said, I'm really a bass player, so that was kind of weird.
Oh, really? I didn't hear him say that.
It was...
The mono...
Well, they had
the
bass
mono
whammy there as well, I guess, so maybe that's... Yeah.
And even with that one, I thought, why? Like, why do we need to go up a third octave?
3 octaves, man. 3 octaves up.
Oh, man, it's...
If you only want the dogs in the neighborhood to hear it, then...
Yeah, so that Digitech Hammer-On, it reminded me of the auto... What was the thing in the Boss GT3? Like the auto arpeggiator that was in that.
I had a Boss GT3.
I've got one here. Like, it goes with the 5150 as my rig when I was 18.
Yeah, nice. Nice.
That I reacquired. But
you're right. You're totally
right. Sorry. Whether again, and I will reserve judgment to when it's demoed better and used in a real world environment. I'm sure there's a use for it, but that was a big no from me. Especially after they've done so many great pedals like the Ricochet and the Drop and all of these, and then someone just went, you know what we should do now? And someone gave them the keys to the workshop.
I'm interested...
And they shouldn't have. They should take them back.
Totally. I'm interested to see what Gabor thinks, because you're a whammy pedal devotee.
Every board has to have a whammy pedal on it. Yeah, I kind of found it a little bit strange as well. Yeah, well, one. And one needs to go 3 octaves up, and then... so, yeah, anyway. You go 2 octaves down and then 3 octaves up to get the... yeah, it's a bit odd. There used to be a thing... I'm trying to think of what it's called. There used to be a thing... There was a company that made this thing that you plug into the whammy pedal via MIDI, and you could set up sort of arpeggiated, like the sort of pitch step effect thing via that. Was it like molten lava or something lava or molten voltage or something like that? It was basically this sort of MXR size pedal that was MIDI, and then you could set up, you could plug it into your whammy and it would control the whammy. And you could do all that sort of arpeggiator stuff. So to me, it's kind of like that, but that was, I don't know, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, whenever that was a thing. I think I saw it in one of the very first That Pedal Show videos. I think it wasn't even That Pedal Show yet. He did, the first time he did a pedal board for Ed O'Brien from Radiohead. I think he had one of those things on it that does that weird arpeggiating thing for the whammy. But it seems to me like that's just that in a Ricochet with 2 buttons. So yeah, it's an odd one. But again, maybe if I can get my hands on one for a demo, then I can let you guys know first-hand experience.
Can you put it on the Miku Stomp? I want to see those two together. See what it does to that.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't use it any other way. I mean, the first thing I would do with the 3-octave whammy is run the Miko through it as well, just to see how high Miko can sing. But
maybe we could put it on the FART pedal as well.
I was just thinking that because that was at Namm this year. It was a big, a big winner.
Right. I thought I'd spell it just in case, someone's got kids in the car listening to this, and then, all the kids start giggling. Again, that's why I said the disclaimer. The guy that demoed it said he was a bass player, and I will reserve some judgment on it, and maybe someone can find something cool with it. So what was your what, though, Matt?
Well, yeah, mine was actually something that didn't happen, which seems like you're shaking your fist at the clouds for no good reason. But before...
Shake harder, boys. Shake them hard.
There was a lot of rumours, because Gibson were coming back, a lot of rumours that Gibson were going to reissue the RD, which was originally launched in 1978. I don't know, Dave Grohl played one for a while. They were actually reissued in 2018, which marked the 40th anniversary of the RD. But the original RD had some crazy circuitry with the synth company Moog. It had a rock maple body, so it had these kind of non-Gibson-y things. The reissue got rid of all that stuff anyway. So the reissue was sort of like a Les Paul with an RD shape, I would call it. So I was interested are they going to reissue it? Are they going to keep it real like the old one? But it didn't even happen. So Namm rumours, they don't all come true, kids.
No, definitely not.
Well, and then Gibson ended up pulling out at the last minute and donating the money to the victims of the LA fires. So they only had a tiny little booth with the 55s, the new 55 reissued Les Pauls in. So no, they weren't. In the end, they ended up pulling out at the last minute and donating that money to. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
And I mean, Fender too. They had their display was not open to the public days. It was like a separate area for media and dealers only.
Yeah.
So their big return was tempered in a bit of a way as well. So interesting.
It's really interesting. How many booths did you end up finding out? How many booths there were active at Namm?
No idea.
No.
Because I just watched a video on the Chinese tech, a similar thing, but with all the Chinese tech companies, there were 72,000 booths.
Holy moly.
Wow.
72,000. It's the biggest tech exhibition, wholesale exhibition in the world. And yeah,
wowzers! They'll take you a while to get around.
You take it all year and you still wouldn't get it. Yeah. Even
crazy.
1 minute in every booth, you'd still wouldn't make it in a year. It's crazy. But yeah, just looking at the scale of that, comparatively.
Yeah, that would be. I mean, how big is the convention center where they held that?
Yeah, it was massive. Massive.
Jeez.
I can't even comprehend.
No.
But you look at the tech coming out and how cheap the stuff is. It's crazy. And you just saw what the new Chinese AI did to the US stock market today. Crushed it. Crushed ChatGPT and NVIDIA and all of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they've just announced, because AI is obviously going to come into our industry. If not, it's already here. We use it for promo and all kinds of things, video creation.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was going to be a $500 billion investment in the US AI economy, and a guy as a side project spent $5.6 million on the AI that was just released out of China. That's it, 5.6, and it's already outperforming ChatGPT, Gemini, everything.
Wow. Crazy.
So the world's about to get a lot different.
It feels like
especially when people, especially you can download the whole AI software. It's 400 gig and run it locally. So it doesn't need all of these data farms with all of this processing power to do it. It's insane. You can do it on a Raspberry Pi.
Chish.
All right, let's move on to our honourable mentions. Rob, you kicked us off already, talking about the Jose modded Friedmans. Do you want to tell us your other honourable mentions? We'll just smash through these. Yeah,
so local boys done good. The Cole Clark company, they've just updated their true hybrid with a thin line Grand. And this guitar, they're really trying to bridge the gap between acoustic players and electric players. Give acoustic players a really good acoustic, but also give electric players a true hybrid, which is what it says. So thinner body profile makes it more comfortable. They've given 3 new colors. So, you got your seafoam green, your pink.
Which looks cool.
So
the green
they look awesome. Yeah. Great addition to the lineup. And they've further developed the pickup system. So the piezo undersaddle pickups, the mic, and a bass sensor. And they all work together almost like a crossover system. So no pickup picks up any of the frequencies that you don't want it to pick up. So the microphone has basically blocked out all of the bass frequencies.
Okay.
And there's a bass sensor that's picking up the right frequencies there and amplifying that. And they've got a patent pending system there, and
unreal.
And you can they got separate outs, so you can send the electric side to an amp and the acoustic side to your PA, and blend them, switch between them. Great innovation from the Cole Clark company, and go Aussie.
They were going to send us one of those true hybrids last year, and they never did. I got to get in touch with them because I want a seafoam green one.
Yeah, I like that. Looked great. I also like the pink. The
colours
awesome.
are good. Yeah, good looking colours.
Yeah,
they've really pushed that technology. They've kept on it. These guys.
Yeah. They're not just resting on their laurels. They keep trying to improve everything. It looks like they've tried to improve right across their line once again, and they keep innovating.
Love it.
And the last one was the tube amp expander from Boss, which is a reactive...
The mini version.
The mini one, yeah. So a reactive load box. So as venues get quieter and quieter, these tools, similar to what Gabor pointed out with the Celestion speaker.
Yeah.
And I think they're essential tools if you're not a modeler guy and like to deep dive into menus. This is great. You can load your own IRs. But there's also inbuilt 30-watt power amp. So you can, if you want to run it to a cab off a preamp pedal, like one of the PV, pedals, if you want to take your PV pedal or your Marshall pedal, you can take that onboard effects and onboard effects loop. And they've further developed the air feel technology from the Waza headphones, the air headphones. So you can incorporate a room sound into your guitar tone, independent of your reverb and delays. So I thought that was a really cool thing that you can just throw in a gig bag, basically, or probably a bit too big for a gig bag with the guitar, but in a suitcase or a backpack would work great. So they were my honourable mentions.
Yeah, very cool. All right, Gabor, what'd you have?
Mine. Well, let's start off with, because we kind of talked about them already, the PV preamp pedals.
Yes.
Which I think the whole range looks cool. Hang on, I just got to bring up the page where I've got it. Here. Oh, no, that's not the page where I've got it. Oh, damn, where's the page where I've got it? I've got it here somewhere. Oh, here they are. Okay, so you've got the Bandit, which we kind of talked... oh, no, we didn't talk about the Bandit. We're talking about Decade. But there's a Bandit, a Rockmaster, a Decade, a Session, and a VTM. Now, in the videos, they sound great. I think they look great. They definitely have that
look cool
PV vibe going. The Bandit with the blue and black and the knobs, which kind of look like the knobs on a PV Bandit.
Love it.
The Decade, the Rockmaster, they all just look really, really cool. VTM with the little dip switches as well, like on the actual amp. I thought they looked great, sounded great. I like, again, the whole PV thing, all the stuff they released. I really think it's good. I like it, and it has this. It's nostalgia, but I like it. I like it a lot, and I'm really keen to try it out. I really want to try all this stuff out. But so, quick thoughts on all the PV pedals.
My instant thing was I want a bypass looper with all of those on it, and that's your pedal board. And you just take all these PV pedals in a bypass looper with like a Cab M or something, or an Opus as your as your power amp and speaker simulator.
I'm in.
And that's your amp.
I'm in.
And you just turn up, and all we're doing is playing, Sonic Youth songs and all those sort of late 80s, early 90s kind of bands that were using those.
I'm in.
Those amps.
I'm in.
Oh man, so cool.
What about you, Matt?
Great. I think everything I said about the Decade pedal applies here. I like it that they've gone for the teal stripe PV Bandit. That's quite well regarded.
Yeah.
Although I would like the original 80s, which I don't think it had any colours at all.
Ooh, that's the blackout version for the Black Friday thing.
I think it had a grey speaker grill, greyish. Oh no, it was black, but it was very worn out. So if they could
and they had the metal sides on the speaker
sides.
Grill, and all of the speakers, their PA gear had that too.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Black Widow,
the Black Widow,
the Sheffields.
Bring back the Black Widow and the Marvel.
Marvel,
the
that's
Marvel.
Right, yeah.
That's great, man. But it has to be really heavy, like too heavy.
Yeah. You can barely pick it up.
Those baskets on the Black Widows were just over-engineered. Let's say that's the term. Over-engineered.
I think PV's the MVP tonight. We're getting pretty excited about PV.
I'm digging all the PV stuff.
All right, keep going, Gabor.
Then sticking with preamp pedals, I thought the Marshall pedals. Again, it's a bit of an odd thing because there's so many of them, but then I do like the idea it's Marshall. It's not necessarily super expensive. So they made a 1959 Super Lead pedal, the JVM, which I thought is interesting because it's the latest thing. JCM 800, 900, and a DSL, but not the DSL as in the current DSL line, but it's basically the JCM 2000 dual lead. Not the DSL, the sort of more budget line that they have at the moment. They look good. They have that definite Marshall sound, the Marshall knobs. I know there's a million other Marshall in-a-box pedals out there for pretty much all of those, maybe except for the JVM, because that's like one of the latest ones, but all the other ones, there's millions of them, but I still think it's kind of cool. So I don't know, what do you guys think?
Yep, thumbs up. Everyone makes a Marshall in a box. Why can't Marshall?
Exactly. What about you, Rob?
Well, that's going to be my second pedal board. So PV on my left foot, the Marshall pedals on my right foot.
Yes.
And that's the way to go, I reckon.
All right. Well,
I think you're right.
That's I'm all for it. And I kind of, one of the other things, honorable mentions, I quickly mentioned before, I think the JCM 900 Studio or Studio 900 or whatever it's called, I think it's a good idea. I think it's something interesting that they made in a head and a combo. So I think that's the first of the studio amps that is a combo as well. I think all the others are just heads.
Okay.
Sorry about the sniffliness, but I've got allergies going on at the moment, so I just apologize to all the listeners out there for sniffling. And the last thing I wanted to mention is the return of Dumble without Howard Alexander Dumble. Did you guys see that?
I watched some videos. Yeah, the Reverb one that they did, Reverb.com did one.
Yeah. And I think Anderton did one too. So basically, some guys that were friends of his, they always say, it's interesting how they all call him Mr. Dumble. They don't, it's very formal. It's Mr. Dumble did this and Mr. Dumble did that. So there were a bunch of guys that are friends of his, or two guys, I think, or maybe three guys. And he basically, when he died, he left them the circuit boards, or the specs, the not the circuit boards, the what do you call them? Schematics. God, that's the word I was thinking of. The schematics, the know-how, everything. Left him everything, and gave him basically said, "You guys can continue on the name Dumble." And there's even a website now, a Dumble website. And they're going to continue on doing Dumble. Whether they're going to be $100,000 amps like the old Dumbles were, and whether you have to go and audition and be only people that are considered cool enough by them are allowed to play them, or if it's going to turn into a mass-produced kind of boutique amp thing, we'll see. But I thought it's quite interesting that that's happening. So what are your thoughts?
I remember the rumours not long after Alexander Dumble passed away, that the amps would be brought back in some way. So I guess that's kind of interesting. So fun to see all the old ones there and people plugging in and giving it a crack. That's pretty cool.
Like to see Randall Smith go over there.
Yeah, he's at a loose end.
Go into competition against Gibson and Massa Boogie.
I'm all for it. Let's do it.
Yeah. It'll be very interesting. But hey, if it makes those amps more accessible to more people, if that's what you're into, that's really cool.
Well, that's going to be the interesting thing. Is it going to be more accessible, or is it going to be just as, unicorn?
Because there's a bit of competition out there, because that's what Two Rock's doing.
Yeah, Two Rock.
There's a whole bunch of companies making big, clean amps.
Yeah.
Big, loud, clean amps. So, it'll be interesting where that goes, and maybe they'll reissue a whole bunch of Dumble amps, and then maybe the Dumble in a pedal, because there's not enough of them.
Oh, yes!
And they'll do they're not going to have a third pedal board with all the Dumble amp pedals on it. And
this is the
I
Stevie
can have
Ray
like Prince,
preamp. This is the
I'm gonna have like Prince, like right around my whole mic stand. It's just like a semicircle.
Yeah.
And then
Doug Wimbish, the Doug Wimbish pedal. Yeah.
I don't know why you haven't done the Prince board yet, Rob. I thought that was happening.
Goes with the guitar.
Gets in the way of my dancing, mate.
It never got in the way of his dancing.
No. He's a smaller dude, smaller footprint.
That's true.
But
true.
it is. It's an interesting time. It doesn't feel like as many things came out of this year's NAMM as last year's.
Yeah.
I was finding it harder to pick. Like, it was easy to pick two things. It was hard to pick three things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of excited me. Whereas last year, I think we were all clamoring for a whole bunch of releases. But, it was interesting that there was no no Line 6, like no new products from Line 6.
There were all the rumours about Tonex coming out with a bigger floorboard with all effects and stuff on it, and that didn't happen. And
no, they just came out with the Satriani limited gold
chrome, the
Tonex
chrome one.
Yeah,
and
chrome,
the cabinet, the Tonex cab.
Tonex one.
Which has divided the internet yet again, but
has it? What's the?
There's a lot of hate. There's a lot of hate and a lot of. I mean, I did a video, and man, it's. There's some interesting comments in there, but
isn't it just like a powered speaker?
Yes, it's
like
an FR, but kind of voiced. That's a lot of people kind of got a bit. If it's FR, then it's not voiced for guitar because FR means full response. But it's a custom Celestion speaker. It's in a housing like a guitar cabinet housing. But I think the interesting thing, and I don't know if other FR speakers have that. It'll have a software side to it, which is not ready yet. But you could.
But doesn't the Kemper one? The Kemper has that.
Yeah,
and the old Line 6, well, they still do it. The powered cab that Line 6 do, they have sounds and settings and tones that you can select.
I don't know.
So it's not new.
Maybe it's not new. No, I've never tried any of the other ones, but I thought it sounded really good in the room. It sounded great. This one, you can also change a grill to different colours. You can buy that sort of more cream, sort of gold kind of like old Marshall kind of. Grill, or like a Fender style silver grill, and you can link them together. It has a link function as well, where you can turn off the cabinet out stuff and link it with others, and then you can have you could technically have 4 of them with all different IRs in them.
Yeah, I don't see the big deal. Like 4-range speaker, that's a great idea if you're using that stuff. If you're using the modeling.
Yeah, and some people get very angry about that stuff, but that's the internet.
It's starting to get to be a very crowded product.
Yeah.
So between all of them that are doing that.
Yeah, man. There's a lot of ways. I mean, there's a lot of ways to make your guitar loud, isn't there? Even some of the stuff we've looked at tonight.
Yeah.
The tube amp expander, the attenuating speakers. Hey, I'll jump in with my honourables as well. I said a couple of quick ones.
Yeah.
Last year I talked about Ernie Ball's string vending machine, like the food vending machine. That was pretty cool. This year they ramped things up. They had 2 video games. They had like a Pac-Man. I think they called it Pluck Man. And then they had like a Space Invaders type game. And if you got the top score that day, you got a year's supply of strings. So that was pretty cool. Well done, Ernie Ball. And the other thing, I guess the thing with Namm, it's not just gear on display and demos. There are concerts and there are discussions and seminars and things. So I saw a bunch of videos from the PRS 40th anniversary concert, which looked amazing. They had like John Mayer there, Mark Lettieri, Dave Grissom, Orianthi, Philip Sayce, and a bunch of other people.
Yeah.
And I don't know, the videos I saw of that were great. Did you guys see any gigs or any of that PRS?
I saw a little bit of the John Mayer one, but yeah, I haven't done a deep dive into those things.
I think Larry Carlton played a little bit on the Sire stand, and
cool.
He always sounds great.
Yeah,
with the new headless Larry Carlton Sire guitars that came out.
What?
He didn't play that, but they came out this year. There's some headless, headstockless guitars.
Wow.
That now under the Larry Carlton name. Yeah.
I will never get that. I'll never get the Strandberg, the weird fan fret.
Oh, and the keyboard player out of Dream Theater got a Strandberg signature guitar this year too.
Yeah, Jordan.
Whatever, the goatee dude.
Rhodes? Yeah. He shreds on anything.
He's great on anything, but yeah, I just found it interesting that even the keyboard player out of Dream Theater is like an insane guitar player.
Yeah.
A signature Strandberg, yeah.
Oh, and the new Larry Basilio in black.
Yes, that looks cool.
New in the Ibanez signature. That looked pretty funky.
It looked awesome. I mean, I'm a huge fan. We talked about her last time, but it is kind of funny. Like, just a new paint job is now heralded as a big new release when they do that. But cool. It must be doing well for them to keep doing new colorways, as the people call them now.
Yeah.
So that is cool. That is cool. So much fun at Namm, and I guess we've already said it, but all the innovation is cool. People are still thinking of cool ways to make guitars sound cool and to make cool guitars. So can only be ultimately a good thing. Rob and Gabor, thanks heaps. It's been, as always, fun catching up and talking through this stuff. Rob, where can people find you when you're not talking about gear?
Oh, as always, just my website's the easiest place, roadtripent.com. All the gigs, all the stuff, all the river cruises, and and links to Facebook, etc. You can watch me with my 360 camera.
Yeah, there's some great videos.
And
it sounds great too, man. We get to hear you wail, which I love.
Well, sometimes it's good because if I record the audio separately, then I can actually redo the audio and sync it to the video, and it's not just dependent, because you are really limited by any camera, regardless of how good the quality is, by the sound of the room. But one little innovation on the latest update of DaVinci Resolve is a remix audio feature. So you can take the audio from the camera and remove the ambient. So it's using AI to separate all the instruments. Wow. So if the guitar's buried, I can bring the guitar up or change the EQ of anything, and then I can take the ambient sound out, so it's going to take all that room reverb away. So some really cool tools out there for musicians when you want to put promo up, or if your room doesn't sound great when you're recording at home on your phone.
Yeah, nice.
DaVinci Resolve is free unless you want to go to the studio version, and Remix is in there, and you can do some amazing things with the audio now.
Interesting.
They use Blackmagic own Fairlight, so all of the Fairlight technology is in there in the video editing software.
Interesting.
Very cool. Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. And again, just to see you ripping on guitar, Rob, it's worth the price of admission to chase you on social media if we're not in your neck
and walking through the audience while you're doing guitar solos and going upstairs and on balconies and
It's always the 150th take that I put up to. You know, the audience is getting sick of me like playing the same song 10 times till I get it right, so I can post the video.
Guys, we're going to do this again.
Sorry, guys, can I do it again?
Show some enthusiasm.
Wonderwall for the 10th time. Let's go.
Gabor, we've been alluding to your gear reviews and things, but maybe we've got new listeners. Can you explain the YouTube channel that you and Alex have and we love?
Oh, well, thank you. If you like YouTube gear reviews by two guys with Australian accents and the dumbest name on the internet web world, then check out the Super Fun Awesome Happy Time Pedal Show. That's us. It's all one word. So the Super Fun Awesome Happy Time Pedal Show. And on Instagram too, and YouTube, and we do a podcast. And if you live in Australia and you're going to the Melbourne Guitar Show on the first weekend of March, looks like I'm going to be presenting there as well. So I have no idea what I'm doing yet. I'm meant to fill a 50-minute slot on the main stage.
News.
50-minute slot on the main stage. I have no idea what I'm going to do because Alex can't make it, so I'm going to be on my own. But come and check me out, and watch me being very nervous about what I'm doing. Because I going up, I don't know, knowing my luck, probably before me will be some super shredder dude, amazing guitar player, and then he'll be me going, hello, for 50 minutes. I have no idea what I'm going to do, but I'm...
Very cool.
Very
cool.
So on I think Sunday, the 2nd of March, around lunchtime, I'm there, and I think I'm doing something with Fender as well on one of the 2 days. So come and check that out.
Brilliant.
I reckon just ship your whole amp rig and switch it down there and spend the 50 minutes telling people how you put it together.
There could be some. Yeah, actually, if anyone has any ideas, what you want me to do for 50 minutes on stage that doesn't involve pretending like I'm a good guitar player, let me know.
You might need to use the Digitech hammer-on.
Or it's going to be mostly the hammer-on and the Miku stomp. That's the two, yeah.
All right, guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And thanks to Namm and all the people building cool stuff that we got to talk about tonight. Fretboard Biology are the sponsors of the show. Please check out the links in the show notes for those guys, Joe and the team over there, running that fantastic online guitar course. And you know what, when Michael Schenker, before he could buy a modified Marshall, when he was just doing it the old-fashioned way, you know what he used to say?
Keep rocking, keep on rocking.
Keep on rocking, indeed. All right.
Indubitably.
We'll catch you next time. Bye now.
Bye.